Alright guys, so in this linear equations unit we've been working a lot with solving equations. We've looked at one-step, two-step equations, distributive property, combining like terms. You've told me if an equation has one solutions, no solutions, or even infinite solutions. Today we're going to be looking at equations involving fractions. So the difference here is that before we start solving this equation, I'm going to want to see if we can eliminate these fractions. So to eliminate a fraction, I'm going to need to multiply it by a number that will eliminate the denominator. So for example, if I were to multiply this first fraction 1/2 r times 2, this would simplify to 2 over 2r, or just 1r. But if I were to multiply these other two fractions by 2, we still wouldn't be able to eliminate the denominator, because 2 times 3/4 would just give us 6/4, which doesn't give us an integer. So I want to multiply every term in this equation by the least common multiple of our denominator. So our denominators are 2, 4, and 4. So our least common multiple, or LCM, is going to be 4, because 4 is a multiple of 2, it's a multiple of 4, and a multiple of 4. So I'm going to put my 4 out here and essentially just distribute it to every term in this equation. So if I were to distribute to the first term, I would have 1/2 r, or 4 times 1/2 r. This would be 4 over 2r, or just 2r. So this first term, 4 times 1/2 r, gives us 2r. Now, distributing or multiplying to the second term, 4 times 3/4, we can get 4 times 3 is 12 over 4 gives us 3. So this would be plus 3. Now we also need to make sure we distribute to the other side of the equation. So I'm going to distribute to this 4 times 1/4 times negative 3r plus 8. Now, right here, you might be asking yourself, why aren't we distributing to everything inside here? So why am I not multiplying this 4 times this negative 3r? Why am I not multiplying the 4 times the positive 8? The reason is because when I multiply this 4 times the 1/4, which is already being distributed to everything in the parentheses, this 4 itself will be distributed. So if I were to go 4 times 1/4, 4 times negative 3r, and 4 times positive 8, I would essentially be like triple distributing. So when we multiply it just by this coefficient in front, it automatically will take care of everything on this side of the equation. So this part can simplify. 4 over 1 times 1 over 4. These terms can just cancel out, and so all we're left with is negative 3r plus 8. And that's on the other side of the equal sign, so negative 3r plus 8. Now, this equation looks a whole lot more manageable. So if I want to solve for r, I could add 3r to both sides. These would cancel out. We'd be left with 5r plus 3 equals positive 8. Now to solve, subtract 3 from both sides. 5r equals 5, divide both sides by 5 to get r equals positive 1. So our steps for this: identify our fractions, find the least common multiple of our fractions, and make sure we distribute to every single term, and then just solve. Now we can look at a couple more examples. Here we have 2. So in number 1, we have 3/4 being distributed to 2x plus 1, and on the other side of the equal sign we have a positive 2. Now, rather than distributing, I'm going to want to multiply everything in this equation by the least common multiple of our fractions. Now, in this case, we only have one fraction, so I can just multiply everything in this equation by 4. So on the right side of the equation, 4 times 2 will give us positive 8. And then if we were to distribute on the left side of the equation, 4 times 3/4 would give us 12/4. And then we still have what's inside the parentheses, 2x plus 1. Now we can clean this part up again. 12 over 4 just gives us 3 times 2x plus 1 equals positive 8. Now we can just distribute over here. Notice how the numerator stayed. This whole fraction itself didn't go away, just the denominator. But we know how to distribute, so this would give us 6x plus 3 equals 8. Then let's move this over here for a little room. 6x plus 3 equals 8. Subtract 3 from both sides. 6x equals 5. Divide both sides by 6 to get x equals 5 over 6. So again, we want to make sure that we are distributing a multiple of our denominator to every single term on both sides of the equation. Once we've distributed to every single term in the equation, we just solve normally, and then to check, we can substitute this back into our equation to make sure that we get the same thing on both sides. So right now I want you to pause the video, try number 2 on your own, and then push play, and we can check your work. Alright, so in number 2 we have 1/4 x plus x equals 3 plus 0.5 x. Now right away you might notice a difference right here. This is not a fraction, but 0.5 is one of our commonly used decimals, so I can just change that to a 1/2 x. We know that 0.5 is the same as 1/2. So I'm going to rewrite our whole equation now that we've converted everything to fractions. 1 over 4 1/4 x plus x equals 3 plus 1/2 x. Great, now we have two fractions. We have 1/4 as our coefficient in front of this x, and we have 1/2 in front of the coefficient as the coefficient in front of this x. So our denominators 4 and 2, we want to multiply by our least common multiple, which is going to be 4. Least common multiple of 4 and 2 is 4. So if I distribute on the left side, 4 times 1/4, 4 over 1 times 1 over 4x is just going to give us 1x, plus 4 times x is going to give us 4x. Now, we've got to remember to distribute to both sides of the equation, so we have 4 times 3, which gives us 12, and then 4 times 1/2, 1/2 x is going to give us 2x. So we've distributed by a positive 4 to every term in the equation, and now we're left with an equation that's a lot more manageable because all of our coefficients, and actually all of the numbers, are integers. So we can combine like terms on the left. 4x plus x, it gives us 5x. On the right side, we'll just keep this the same for now, 12 plus 2x. Now we can solve. So I want to get all of my variables on this side, so I'm going to subtract 2x from both sides. That'll eliminate this 2x, so we'll have 5x minus 2x gives us 3x, equals, all we have left over here is a positive 12. Now divide both sides by 3 to get x equals positive 4. So again, we converted this to a fraction, multiplied every term in our equation by the least common multiple of the denominators. When we did that, it simplified to x plus 4x equals 12 plus 2x, and then from here we just solved using our inverse operations.